The French government's failure to address the refugee crisis is causing increasing violence and misery across the country. In Calais, the camp called the worst in the world is bursting with a record 10,000 people. Locals have waged road blockades in protest while desperate expatriates risk their lives to cross the English Channel. The UK refuses to process asylum seekers properly, and France also violates international law by repeatedly attacking refugees with police brutality. Anti-refugee hate is so high that outside Paris, a migrant center under construction was preemptively burned down with arson suspected. In Paris, the city government finally announced plans for its very first refugee center, but it will house just 400 people for around a week at a time. In this North Paris neighborhood, refugees line the streets for nearly half a kilometer. If the typical pattern holds, they will soon be rousted out violently by police, not given long-term housing, and be back on the streets in just a few days, often without their already meager belongings.
The police harasses us every single night. They search for those who have no temporary papers, and those without them are put in prison and then expelled from the country without fail.
France is heavily implicated in causing and prolonging many of the world's refugee crises, and so many are represented here: Syrians, Malians, Afghans, Somalians, and others.
There is absolutely no government aid or oversight here. There are only problems. All I have been granted is a 45-day stay in France. But what can I do with such temporary papers? No one will rent me and my wife an apartment or give us a job.
France's presidential election season is starting early, and it's assumed that all candidates, excepting the far left, will bash refugees to score political points. It will be another indignity inflicted on the thousands of immigrants already enduring the misery of homelessness. Ramin Mazaheri, Press TV, Paris.